A friend is the first person you want to call when you hear good news. A friend remembers that you only like sweet pickles on your sandwich. A friend will go with you on the most boring of errands and make them fun. Lifelong friends not only know the person you are, but also the person you were. Each person has ideas and memories regarding their friendships. This film examines some of those very ideas, memories, and thoughts of long friendship amongst women. I felt compelled to document the story of my sisters, not related by birth, but sisters nonetheless. Sisters bonded by a long-standing friendship of over 5 decades. I met these women who I love and have respect for when I was 13 years old, the summer before I entered high school. Quite a few of them have known each other since elementary school. We have been through a lifetime together. School, dating, graduating, college, engagements, marriages, childbirths, vacations, separations, divorce, remarriages, unfortunate sadness with the loss of our parents and friends, joyousness with the births of our grandchildren. Here are photos of my friends that attended the 2016 reunion. We became a unified group of 10 friends between 1965 and 1966 when we were all in high school. Linda went to FDR and was introduced to me by Phyllis Bedner, as was Lorraine, Annie, Melvina, and Ramona. Ramona introduced Chachi and Yvonne to the group. Hope and I met first at St. Gabriel's Sunday Mass, and Hope introduced me to Phyllis. So I hope that helps. As it stands now, unfortunately, Phyllis was the first one of us who passed away.
Out of our group of friends, the first person that I recall meeting was Phyllis Bedner. Phyllis and I met in FDR High School, and we became fast friends. We were part of the bust out generation, so it wasn't many black kids in our school. So many of us just got together, and Phyllis had a beautiful voice. So we would be involved in a lot of the things that they called sing back in the day. These were like shows that the school put on. And I'll always remember that. It was sort of a talent competition between grades, and we just loved it. And we thrived in it. Every year we look forward to sing.
Okay.
I was involved with the Adams Track Club because girls could not run in high school. You had to be part of a team that was outside of the school. I ran the 440, I did relay races, I ran the 220, and I also did the broad jump. I went to the Melrose Game, pin relays, I ran in Madison Square Garden. I even tried out for the Olympics. I got stuck in the blocks that time, but it was just a great way of seeing the states. We went all around the United States, and we had great fun and great times. The reason why I think this group of women, my friends, have been in my life for over 50 years is because we liked each other. We always respected each other for whatever that we were into, whichever achievements we were trying to be successful at, and we really encouraged one another. And Ramona was the glue that kept us together. She would call and make announcements of what was going on in each other's lives. When someone moved, Ramona knew. Ramona took care of us, and when we came together, we were just so happy to see each other, and we're just glad that another decade we could just check off and say, here we are, we're still together. Well, I have some special memories with one or two of the gang because we went to school together and we were around each other. And one was with Melvina. Mel just was the kind of person that was always perky, always girly. And Mel would not go out in the rain. If it was raining, Mel was not coming to school. And then we had Phyllis. Phyllis would buy paint, shoe polish, and paint one pair of shoes, a color for whatever outfit she was wearing. And it was just totally hilarious because you could see where she painted over the shoe, and one part of the green would still be, although the red would be there, but that's just who Phyllis was. Well, I feel close to quite a few of the women for different reasons. I felt close to Mona because of how she kept us together. I felt close to Phyllis because we really had a lot in common and we shared a lot of memories. I felt close to Melvina because she just made me laugh. So I'm sure there's other memories that I have with the other women, but those come to mind of things that happened in the past. I just feel blessed. I feel that my friends are the siblings that God never gave me. I can count on them. I can call them. When my husband died, they were there for me. They made sure that I was okay. And even though I didn't need them to be right there on the spot, they were on the spot anyway. And I'm just grateful to God to be able to have people in my life, like these women, that have surrounded me, and I've surrounded them for over 50 years. Well, I don't have any past stories, but those annual pictures are really funny to me because we be trying to pose and look all perfect, and sometimes those pictures just does not do us justice. I know they posted one, and I called and said, please take it down. But I really just love my friends. They are good women, great women.
Well, I think we had a blast, all of us, at different times with different members of our group. I just remember laughing a lot.
Mhm.
I remember doing things. I remember partying. I remember dancing. I remember Chachi teaching us how to do
Oh,
some
yes,
special
yes,
steps.
yes.
So, what in terms of memories? Those are some. And do you remember like going to COCP, Bill Daly's,
How can I forget?
Empire Rollerdrome? Just a blast from the past.
Brooklyn has such a rich culture, and as friends in Brooklyn, we all did the same things. So if one person hung out at COCP, everybody hung out at COCP. We danced. Oh gosh, I have so many memories of partying, roller skating, wearing hot pants, getting dressed up, always wanted to have the latest outfits. It was just a wonderful time, just partying.
Mm-hmm.
No drugs, no alcohol, just partying.
Just dancing and having
Dancing in the park, just showing off steps and whatnot.
Do you remember Chachi used to dance with her brother?
Yes, yes.
Well, listen, I used to hear so many stories from you guys. I wasn't allowed to party at COCP because my father and my parents were so strict. But because I had stories from you guys, everybody thought I was there.
Yeah, I guess.
But I love
I'm always the last one, y'all, but, I'm going to make it. I'm going to be there, eventually.
Thank you, sweetie.
Thank you.
Right.
Bye-bye.
What are the most important lessons I've learned in life? Well, I guess number one, that people are more important than things, definitely. And that family is most important of all. And of course, I consider my friends my family too. And finally, that life is really short. So if there are things that you want to do or try, go ahead and do them. Even if you're afraid, be afraid, but do them anyway, because this is the only chance we get, and we should try to do all of the things that we want to do in this life. So from here on out, I'm just gonna go full throttle and try to get in everything that I want to do, whether it's traveling or trying new things, whatever it is. Why are we still friends after all this time? That could be summed up in one word, and that's Ramona. Ramona has always been the person that's kept us together. Ramona has been the one that everyone has stayed in contact with. And when they didn't, she was in contact with them. So whenever we sort of drifted apart and hadn't heard from someone in a long time, she was the one who would reach out to them and find out what was happening. And whenever it had been too long between times when we had seen one another, she was the one who would suggest, hey, it's time for us to get together and do something, whether it was a picnic with all of our kids or just getting together at somebody's house and eating good food, doing potluck.
The reason why I think this group of women, my friends, have been in my life for over 50 years is because we liked each other. We always respected each other for whatever that we were into, whichever achievements we were trying to be successful at, and we really encouraged one another. And Ramona was the glue that kept us together. She would call and make announcements of what was going on in each other's lives. When someone moved, Ramona knew. Ramona took care of us, and when we came together, we were just so happy to see each other, and we're just glad that another decade we could just check off and say, here we are, we're still together.
What do I think about when I see the two photos, the photo from the 80s and the photo that we took just a few years ago? I think about how young we were when I look at that first photo. And it's funny to look at us as we were then, and I try to remember what kinds of things were important to us back then. And then I look at the photo that we took just a few years from now, and the only thing I can be is grateful, because it's such a wonderful thing to still have these people in my life. We've only lost one person, and that was Phyllis 4.5 years ago. And that hit us all very hard, but I think it also made us appreciate each other even more. How is life different than I imagined it would be? Well, when I was very young, like, 10, 12, whatever, young teens, I thought that I was going to be a famous actress, that you would see me, on the Oscars accepting my award. Of course, that didn't happen. But
Hope was the first one in our group that I met. With life being so funny, like myself, she has started another chapter since retiring and has re-entered into the theatrical life. Hope has honed her acting skills and has been casted in several off-Broadway plays: A Raisin in the Sun, Whistle in Mississippi, The Lynching of Emmett Till, and a host of others. I saw her perform in A Raisin in the Sun. She played the role of the mother, and she was impressively good. Well, before it's all over, before the fat lady sings, Hope may yet end up on Broadway.
Hi, Beryl. So I'm sending you this message because you wanted us to answer some questions about being friends so long for your new project. And I wanted to start with the last question first, which was, what do I remember about my experience about living in Farragut? And I wanted to let everyone know that I remember really all of the good times. I had so much fun at the community center. I lived on Sand Street. My building was 234. And I remember so many things. I remember being friends with the crew. At that time, it was mostly Mona and Yvonne and Melly. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, Melly was so beautiful. And I remember Yvonne was so cool and so fashionable and sexy. And of course, I remember Mona's sister, who actually was my best friend during most of my developmental years, the preteen and the teen years. And I remember how smart she was. She was on scholarship. And I remember when she passed, it was really so sad for us, the youngest woman to pass in America from the kind of breast cancer that she had. At any rate, I also remember the Hills, the family that we call the Black Kennedys, and how Mrs. Hill went to church every single morning. And the handsome brothers, Barry and Jimmy. Jimmy became a fantastic teacher at Sands Junior High, and of course Barry became an attorney. We were so proud of him. He was like the first model that I knew. He was handsome, and he became the transition lead for the Jimmy Carter administration when Jimmy Carter became president. but I remember the Richardsons, and I just had so much fun there. I remember the grounds. They were so beautiful and green, lots of trees, lots of space. The community center where we would go to the dances and the basketball playing outside. During the summer, all the fellas used to finally gather there almost every afternoon, and we'd run over there too. The corner store, St. Anne's Latin dances on Monday nights, where almost all other neighborhoods would come and hang out with us. What do I remember? I remember there was a little bit of competition between the projects, Farragut projects and Fort Greene projects. I remember finally being able to hang out in Fort Greene at some dancing they had at the community center there on Myrtle Avenue. But before then, we wouldn't step foot in there if we could help it. But I really remember having a very good time. And I'm going to now stop and see if I could find the other questions I wanted to answer. All right, Beryl, you're too much. What do I think about you? I believe that's the question. What do I think? Man, I always thought that you were a go-getter, but in a quiet, private way. I always felt that you had a handle about what was really going on. You always seemed to understand the social impact of almost any situation that was happening. You always seemed to have a wisdom. I think that in what's going to happen to us in the next 10 to 20 years is probably more of the same in terms of our friendship. I don't think we are interested in giving that up. I think it's lasted so long because we don't judge each other. Probably that's the biggest thing. We don't judge each other. We appreciate when we see each other. What do I remember most or first, maybe mostly first, about you when I met you? Oh my goodness, you were the first black woman that I'd met with green eyes. I thought you were the most beautiful person, for real. Haha, never told you that, did I? But you were so beautiful and funny. And even then, you had a little cynicism. I think that no one else was maybe intelligent enough to have, but you were cool that way. And I remember just thinking how funny you were and how beautiful you were.
Actually, I remember seeing Chachi before I actually met her. We went to schools that were across the street from one another. She went to Prospect Heights, and I went to Bishop McDonald. And I used to see her on the train, and I always thought how pretty she was. And she was extremely popular. I used to always hear, oh yeah, Chachi was at this dance, and Chachi was at that dance, and her and her brother were dancing together. They did the salsa. Oh, she dances so good. And Chachi also had won Miss Photogenic contest. And here's her photo from that contest.
I think the reason we stayed friends for so many years because we loved each other. It was a genuine love for each other. And I also feel that when we were younger, being that we met each other when we were so young, we had similar backgrounds, mother, father in the house in those days. Everybody had a mother, everybody had a father living in the house. And we just stayed close to each other. You know, whatever it was we enjoyed doing. If I liked art, I would call a friend and say, let's go see an art show. Or if we liked the movies, we would just all gather. We had families. The children became friends. So it was just all of us together, being a family, growing up with our friends.
was all of us in that photo in my house. I had a big cookout. And on my front lawn, we all just got together and we took a picture, girlfriend's picture. And then a couple of years later, which I was not able to be at that particular get-together, I had relocated to another state and wasn't able to make it back to New York. And that picture, again, I see like maturity and growth in all the women there. And they look so good. And I was just so happy. And I said, gee, I missed that shot, but I would never miss another one. Because we were friends. And friends you just don't meet overnight. Friends are for life. So on those two pictures, some are missing and some are there. And you can see Phyllis in both of those pictures. Phyllis is in the first one at my house, and you see Phyllis at the second one. And she's just a wonderful person, Phyllis is. And my most memorable thing of Phyllis is that she could sing, she could dance, and she could act. But most of all, she was always singing.
I miss my friend Phyllis. Phyllis, as I said, we were captain and co-captain of our cheerleading squad at Shiloh Junior High School. And we became quick, fast friends from that point on. It saddened me when we were able to get back together when Phyllis got ill. And so I was able to spend some time with her before she passed. And we had such good times. She had such great taste. Whenever we would have our get-togethers and whatnot, it was kind of like, ooh, let's see what Phyllis is going to wear here and whatnot. She was very stylish. And I admired that a lot about her, along with all my other girlfriends too, because I think all of us are quite stylish. I also wondered why Phyllis didn't become such a like a movie star, because she had such a voice on her. She was a singer, and she was exceptional in that craft and whatnot. So I always saw her, I always pictured for her to have fame in that area, and it was something that she really didn't pursue. But I really miss her.
Phyllis, I remember Phyllis going back since junior high school. Actually, one of my favorite memories of Phyllis is when we did a school play and she actually directed the play that I was in. Phyllis was just always talented, and she had a great voice, a great singing voice, and that's basically how I remember Phyllis, just through her talent.
What about the female? But what about the female Viagra?
where's my
What do you guys think about that female Viagra?
Ain't taking no pills.
I don't need any pills. So you guys are very funny because
I
I'll
can
tell you
get
one
in the
thing,
groove
if
now.
I get into the groove and I'm 90 and I need to get in the groove, I'm taking me some female.
Well, that's a few years down the road.
Yeah. No, I don't need pills right now. I can handle it. Yeah, I'm just not interested.
It goes. Everybody's different, you know.
You want to go out and he eat something?
Everybody's kind of different.
Yeah, yeah.
Start talking to yourself.
Well, I don't.
Oh, I talk to myself even when I'm in that way.
I answer back. I
talk.
Because, you know, his hearing's on, so he can't hear me no way. So I'm just talking. My peeling feet.
So we all used to spend the night at Ramona's house.
So we could go too.
That's right.
Except Beryl and I got caught.
That's true, because y'all are always getting in trouble.
Beryl and I got caught. Mona was supposed to go with us. And we told our parents we would spend the night over Ramona's. We get there. She's on punishment. Remember, you couldn't go. I don't know what you had done something to Raymond or Reese or something. I can't go. So we went. So she said, "Oh, just when you come back, call me," because her room's in the front. Yell out to the window, and she'll come open the door. Beryl and I where did we go? Did we go to?
Wait a minute, first, wait. Yeah.
I was
we didn't
there
go to
that night.
Oh, that night when.
But I was over there to spend the night when y'all came.
Real.
And Flo said y'all couldn't come in.
Flo looked out the window and said, Beryl, help me.
But I was there already.
Help me.
What are you doing here?
Right. Do your parents know you're here?
And we said, yes, yes, Miss Johnson.
She did that from time to time.
Yes. And then we looked at each other and said, well, where the hell are
It's
we
like
gonna
2
go?
o'clock in the morning.
3 o'clock. 3 o'clock.
Whatever time it was way ass too late for us to be out in the streets.
So it's like we said, well,
Or to turn around and go home.
Well, there was no going home. How are we gonna go home?
But they wasn't supposed to be out.
We could not go
They
home.
went to somebody's house. Who was
Yeah.
that? Mitchell and
Willie.
Yeah.
Yo, and then you went to a boy's house.
Whatever happened.
No. They weren't boys. They were men.
Yeah.
Cause they men. I mean,
They had their
probably
own place.
21.
That's even 41.
And I was still a virgin.
Wait a minute. Wait.
She's a liar.
So wait a minute. We asked them if we could stay at their house. So they said, yes.
Wait a minute. But we thought we were scared to go there.
Meet Bernice Underwood. She's fit, fabulous, and fierce. Now meet her best friends, Leona Barnes, Gladys Butler, and Ruth Hammett. Ruth just turned 100, and the others will reach the magic number in the next few weeks. They've been besties for some 94 years.
We've been knowing each other all our lives, and we've been close all the time.
These lovely seniors' long-term friendship resonates so dear to me. I can only hope that we are blessed with such longevity and continued friendship. Thank you for tuning in to B-Verve, an edutainment program. B-Verve is aired the third Monday of every month at 10:30 p.m. Thank you again, and hope to see you soon.